Hello everyone, more and more GTA Online is becoming quite an expensive game to play. So today I will be presenting some cheap cars that you can buy on a budget and still have fun with in GTA Online. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoy. The Bestia GTS, based on the Ferrari FF. I also probably should have put this car in my underrated cars video because I never see these driving around. They are just so rare and they are so cheap. This will run you about $600,000 before modifications, and after modifications you will be into it about $850,000, and that is still a very low price for a cool car like the Bestia GTS. No one drives it, no one is even seen around it. It is a very rare car. Most people only ever drive it probably in the import-export update where it is a import car. I think it's a mid-tier car in that update. And overall, this is just a fantastic car. The performance is, it's all right. I mean, for the money, you're not expecting too much, but it's just adequate for today. The customization could be a little better. There's not a lot to do, but I mean, it is a Ferrari-based car. Ferrari is not known to let people customize their cars in real life, so Rockstar kind of follows that tradition in GTA Online. But even just minimally modified with just a little bit of carbon here and there, this car is absolutely fantastic to look at. It's beautiful and it is just great in my eyes. The price, the performance, the modifications, the looks, everything is this is a great car for $600,000. A lot of people more and more nowadays, they're just looking for a car that maybe they don't want performance because they just want a good car to take to a car meet that no one else will have. And rest assured, no one else will have this at a car meet. I attend car meets quite often and no one drives these around. They are just very rare cars to see in free mode and even at car meets, and that's how you know it's an underrated car, because even car meet enthusiast people do not drive them. And in this case, that is the Bestia. The Gauntlet Classic, based on a C2 Chevy Corvette. This car is absolutely wonderful. I think out of all the cars in this video, this might be one of my favorites. I have another one later on in the video, but this one is definitely neck and neck with that one. This car is absolutely fantastic. Once again, just like the Bestia GTS, its customizations are pretty good, especially for the time period that it released in. The flight update was not a very big update. It had some cars, and this was a car a part of it. And I definitely think this was a good car to add, especially back then when enthusiasts were not as big of a crowd, you could say, in GTA Online. It's very nice to see it added at that time and still have it around today. This car has pretty decent performance. I mean, it's a little bit slidey around corners, but you expect that with an older car, and on a C2 Corvette, I'm sure it doesn't exactly handle like a McLaren or something. So I mean, I'd expect this to not be the greatest handler, but straight line, it is pretty good. And overall is a fun car to whip around on the highway and just have fun with. Customizations, like I said earlier, are pretty good, but that doesn't mean that they are good now. They were just good for the time period. Now they are just somewhat adequate, I would say. They're definitely not terrible, but there's just not a lot to do to this car, and that's rightfully so. I mean, this car doesn't need a lot to look good. It really doesn't. All you need is a pretty good color, some good modifications, some good wheels, and there you go. That's a pretty clean looking Corvette that pretty much anyone will agree looks fantastic. I think this is also probably the most beautiful car in the game, in my opinion at least, neck and neck with the Ocelot Lynx, which is absolutely beautiful as well. It's really just modern versus classic. I think this definitely wins the classic battle. But yeah, this is just a great car for car enthusiasts and people who love Corvettes in general. The Mamba, based on a Shelby Cobra. This car, also like the Gauntlet Classic, is a great classic car. It is definitely another fantastic looking car in general, although me personally, I do prefer the wider stance of the Gauntlet, but it's really up to preference at that point. Performance is pretty good for the price, although this is a little bit higher in terms of price on this list. It is $995,000, just under $1 million. No cars in this video are over $1 million, and quite frankly, $995,000 in GTA Online today is not that much money, because you can make so much. I mean, that's like not even a KO Perico heist. So this car is definitely affordable for most people. Customization on this car is pretty good as well. Similar situation to the Gauntlet in that it doesn't have a lot to offer in terms of customization, but it doesn't need a lot to offer, because once again, clean color and some nice wheels, you got a clean car that anyone will agree is a good looking car. And overall, I think this car was a very good car to add to GTA Online. Once again, at an earlier time period in GTA Online, this car came out as part of the Finance and Felony update, back when car enthusiasts were getting more recognized by Rockstar, but they definitely weren't part of the major audience of GTA Online. I mean, now I'm pretty sure car enthusiasts make up a good amount of GTA Online, probably 50%, but I'm no analyst, so don't quote me on that. So for the time and even nowadays, this car is still fantastic. Also, a quick side note about the Mamba, this has one of the best startup sounds in the game. I'm just gonna let you take a listen to it, please. The Beater Dukes, based on the Dodge Charger. I absolutely love this car. This car could be in any number of videos I could even think about. It is a great car in terms of performance. It is a great car in terms of customization. It is great because it's a bargain and it's very underrated. I very rarely see these around. Now, it's not never, because this car is very cheap. I think it's the cheapest car in this video, coming in at around $335,000. That is nothing. You can do that with like a couple auto shop contracts, and those are very easy to do with double money or triple money. You could do one of those and get this car immediately. This car is beautiful, and I think most will agree this car has good customization, very tasteful customization, a customization that is easy to follow along with. You can really go for any sort of style you want. You can go for a sort of rally build, although I don't know why you would do that. You can go for a drag build. This car is very supported in terms of drag customization. It has a drag wing, a parachute, some front bumper options, and it really does look fantastic in that configuration as well. I went for a sort of resto mod look, although I did leave the tint on by accident. Don't worry, after the video I took off the tint, because generally I don't think older muscle cars look good with tint, but that's just my preference. You could go for whatever you want. And continuing upon what I said earlier, this car is probably my favorite car in this whole video, because it is the cheapest, the best customization. Performance is good for the price. Now, I need to put an emphasis on for the price, because performance in general, as part of the muscle car class, this car gets beat out by any number of cars. I mean, the Vigero ZX is at the top, but that also costs like 10 times the amount of money, and this car has way more modifications than that, and once again is a more rare car, a more underrated car, one you don't see very often for the wrong reason, because I think this car is fantastic. The Gauntlet Classic, based on the Dodge Challenger. Now, a quick story about history. I specifically chose to film this car at night because in the Detroit area, when this car was new, there was a rumor, a myth, a legend about the Dodge Challenger named the Black Ghost that would go out racing around Detroit at night, beat out every single car it could possibly fight, and then disappearing into the night with no one seeing it ever. And this car actually in real life is registered as a historical vehicle, which I think is pretty cool. Some part of history around Detroit, I think it's very cool. And this car isn't really a myth, actually. It was true. A real Challenger did actually go around racing around Detroit, and this car was real. So I made my car look like that to kind of honor the real life Black Ghost, because I think that story is just so special. But going back to GTA Online, sorry about that. This car is very good in GTA Online. It is very cheap. I think it's around $650,000, which is very good for the price, because it has so much customizations. I mean, they let you be able to customize it to look like the Black Ghost. In real life, I think the Black Ghost had a crocodile leather hard top, soft top, and this car kind of doesn't have that. The only one they have is the soft top, so I just opted for the closest thing. But you could go for any sort of look you want in this car. This car has a ton of customizations, not to mention the Benny's version, which has even more, but that turns it into a long nose Charger. A lot of people might not like that too much, but that does offer you more customization. But you really don't even need to do that if you're looking for customization. This car has plenty of it. You will be completely satisfied by the customization this car has. And I just love this car. I think it's so underrated, such a bargain for today. It is so cheap, so fantastic, and I just love this car. Absolutely fantastic. Definitely rivals the Dukes as well as the Bestia GTS. And once again, if you're an enthusiast of old muscle cars and old history, you will definitely appreciate this car more than most people. But if you're not into history, not into cars that much, you will still appreciate this, because this is a fantastic car. The Comet Safari, based on a rally Porsche 911. This car also is fantastic and underrated, and is a bargain as well. I believe it comes at around $725,000, which is fantastic for what you get. The only gripe I have with this car is the camera angle. I don't know if some of you can tell by just me driving around here, but the camera angle seems to be a bit higher than usual. I'm not too sure what's up with that. Rockstar definitely messes that up a lot in some cars and in a lot of faster cars as well, which is very unfortunate, because that's the only bad thing about this car. And if a lot of people don't care about camera angles, then this car is fantastic. Like, if you don't care about camera angles, this car is literally perfect. Nothing wrong with that at all. Price into consideration, performance, customization, this car has it all. You will not be dissatisfied with what you get for that price. And once again, you could go for any sort of look you want. You could go for a rally build here with sponsors and everything, or you could go for a matte black, matte gray sort of resto mod rally Porsche 911 look, which also looks great, but I chose to do the rally version just because that's what I prefer. But once again, you can do whatever you want to your car. And yeah, this car is just absolutely fantastic. A absolute thrill to take on trails in the Mount Chiliad area and sort of just bomb through the trails. It is so fun with off-road tires and a spoiler to add the extra traction. And it is just a thrill. If you get like 2 other friends to buy this car too, you could definitely do some fun off-road races. And I think I might have to try that because that sounds pretty fun. I'm just now thinking about it. And your friends can't really use the excuse of, oh, I don't have the money to buy a new car, because once again, this car is very cheap. That's why it's in this video. It is very affordable for most people. You don't have to do a lot to do this. If you helped in a diamond casino heist and got 50%, you could buy this car and fully upgrade it. If you got paintings, if you got money's pretty terrible, so you probably couldn't do that if you got money, but you could do other methods to get money, and this car definitely doesn't require a lot of it to have fun, and that's why I love this car especially. And that is it, everyone. Some cheap budget cars for you to have fun with in GTA Online. Hopefully you all enjoyed this video. Hopefully you buy some of these cars, and if you do, let me know down in the comments which one you bought and why you bought it. Thank you for watching.